What's up, you beautiful fuckers? Welcome back to AI Market Edge. Let's cut the crap and dive headfirst into this wild-ass market.
Okay.
Everyone's shitting bricks about Q4 earnings.
Yeah.
But honestly,
Yeah.
the banks are posting some seriously strong numbers.
Well, yeah.
It's kind of bullshit, right?
It is interesting to see such strong performance from the banks.
Yeah.
Just this morning, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America all reported surging profits. Seems like a pretty clear signal that the U.S. economy is robust, but...
There's always a but, right?
And it's usually a pretty fucked up but, too. Like this asshat David Rosenberg coming out here predicting doom and gloom.
Right.
Comparing the current market to 1929 and 1999. Like, come on, man. Give me a bombing break.
Well, Rosenberg does have a reputation for being bearish. But his argument is based on what he calls a 2.3 standard deviation event.
Okay.
Basically, how much current market valuations have deviated from the historical average.
Okay, so explain that like I'm a goddamn 5-year-old. What the hell is a standard deviation?
And why is 2.3 such a magic number?
Okay, so think of standard deviation as a way to measure how spread out data is.
Okay.
In this case, is how far market prices have strayed from their typical range. And historically, when we hit 2.3 standard deviations above the average, it often signals a correction is coming. Rosenberg's point is that, based on this metric, the market is significantly overvalued and due for a drop.
So this asshat is saying we're in bubble territory. That's a bold F-bombing claim.
It is a significant claim.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Rosenberg isn't just pulling this number out of thin air. He's pointing to historical precedents like 1929 and 1999 periods of extreme market valuations that were followed by major crashes. He's arguing that based on these historical patterns, we're in for some serious pain.
Okay, I get the history lesson, but let's cut the crap. This motherfucker is also claiming the market is pricing in 20% annual earnings growth for the next 5 years. That's some next-level bullshit.
Yeah.
It completely ignores the global landscape and the fact that investors are practically begging for decent returns elsewhere.
Yeah, it's true that 20% growth would be a huge jump, almost triple the historical average. And it does seem unlikely given the current economic climate. But I think what's happening is that the U.S. market is seen as a safe haven in a world full of uncertainty. Investors are flocking here because they believe American companies, for all their faults, are still the best bet for stability and growth.
Fair point. But wait,
Yeah.
Rosenberg isn't done yet? This guy goes on a whole rant about passive investing being a ticking time bomb, especially those asshats who just dump their money into ETFs and call it a day.
Oh, yeah?
His argument is that it creates volatility because everyone panics and sells at the first sign of trouble.
Let's break down passive investing for a second. It basically means investing in a way that tracks a specific market index, like the S&P 500. Exchange-traded funds, or ETFs, are one of the most popular ways to do this. They allow you to buy a basket of stocks that represent that index, so you're not picking individual winners and losers. The idea is that over the long term, the market tends to go up. So if you just ride the wave, you'll come out ahead.
So what's the problem with that? Isn't it a good thing that more people are investing?
Rosenberg's concern is that this heavy reliance on ETFs, especially by investors who might not fully understand the risks involved, can lead to a herd mentality.
Yeah.
If everyone rushes for the exits at the same time, it can amplify market swings and create unnecessary volatility. He's basically saying that too many people are blindly following the market without doing their due diligence.
Yeah, I call bullshit on that too. Look at what happened during the COVID crash. Most passive investors held steady.
Yeah.
They didn't panic and sell like Rosenberg predicted. The data proves they aren't the skittish sheep he makes them out to be.
Yeah, the COVID crash was definitely a stress test for the market. And it's true that many passive investors rode out the storm without panicking, but Rosenberg isn't alone in his critique of passive investing.
Wait, there are other people out there who think passive investing is a bad idea? Who the hell are these asshats?
Well, Terry Smith, a well-known fund manager, has also expressed concerns about passive investing, especially its potential impact on market dynamics. He's argued that the massive inflows into index funds can distort prices, particularly for large-cap tech companies.
So these guys are saying that passive investing is screwing up the whole F-bombing system, that it's creating this artificial bubble.
Essentially, yes. Their concern is that the popularity of passive investing is leading to a situation where prices are being driven more by momentum and less by the underlying fundamentals of companies. Smith, in particular, has been critical of the way passive investing has fueled the rise of big tech, arguing that it's led to valuations that are detached from reality.
Okay, let's cut the crap. If that were true, wouldn't stocks with higher passive ownership be consistently overvalued?
Yeah.
But Bloomberg data shows that's not the case. Passive investing isn't breaking the system. There's still a connection between price and value.
That's a valid point. The data does suggest that passive investing isn't single-handedly distorting the market. Prices are still being influenced by a variety of factors, including company performance, economic conditions, and investor sentiment. But it's interesting to note that even Smith, with his criticisms of passive investing, agrees with Rosenberg on one key point. The market is expensive.
Okay, so maybe things are a little frothy, but isn't that always the case? This market never sleeps, and there's always something new to get people riled up. Speaking of which, let's talk about this fucked up TikTok ban that's about to drop.
Ah, yes, the TikTok saga continues. It seems the ban is imminent, which could have some serious ramifications for the tech landscape and the social media world.
This shit is serious, man. Not just for the millions of TikTok addicts, but for the entire F-bombing tech ecosystem. And let's be honest, this whole thing reeks of political bullshit.
There are definitely political and economic layers to this story. It's not just about a social media app. It's about data privacy, national security, and the growing tension between the U.S. and China.
Yeah, this is some seriously fucked up geopolitics playing out on our phones. So who stands to gain from all this? Who are the winners and losers in this TikTok showdown?
Mark Mahaney, a top analyst, predicts that YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels stand to benefit the most from TikTok's demise. He believes that TikTok users will flock to these platforms, giving them a significant boost in users and ad revenue.
Reels? Maybe.
Yeah.
But YouTube Shorts? Seriously.
Yeah.
Those asshats are playing catch-up.
Right.
And I doubt they can hold a candle to Instagram's reach. I mean, let's be real. Zuck is probably doing a victory dance as we speak.
Meta, Instagram's parent company, is certainly in a strong position to capture a large chunk of TikTok's user base. They have the resources, the reach, and the experience to make Reels the go-to destination for short-form video content.
Okay, so we've got the TikTok drama, a potentially overvalued market, and this whole passive investing debate. What else is on our radar?
Okay.
What should our listeners be paying attention to?
Well, there's one company in particular that has everyone on edge, TSM. Their upcoming earnings report is going to be huge. They're the world's largest contract chip maker.
Okay.
And their performance is seen as a bellwether for the entire semiconductor industry.
TSM, those are the guys who make the chips for Apple, right?
Exactly. They're a critical supplier for Apple, as well as for a ton of other tech giants, including Qualcomm, NVIDIA, and even Tesla. Their earnings are going to give us a glimpse into the health of the global tech sector.
All right, so what are we looking for here? What are the key things that will tell us if TSM is killing it or if we should all be running for the F-bombing hills?
The biggest thing to watch is the demand for their most advanced chips, the 3-nanometer and 5-nanometer nodes. These are the chips that power the latest smartphones, AI applications, and high-performance computing. If demand for these chips is strong, it suggests that companies like Apple and Tesla are confident about their own product pipelines and consumer demand.
Got it. Strong demand for those chips equals good news for the tech sector. But what if demand is weak? Does that mean the whole F-bombing party is over?
Not necessarily. The semiconductor market is notoriously cyclical.
Wow.
There are peaks and valleys, and sometimes a slowdown is just part of the natural ebb and flow. We need to look beyond just one quarter's numbers and consider the long-term trends.
So even if TSM's earnings are a little shaky, it doesn't necessarily mean the sky is falling.
Right. We need to look at the bigger picture. Is TSM optimistic about future demand? Are they investing in new capacity? Those are the questions that will give us a better sense of where the industry is headed.
Okay, let's say demand is strong and TSM is bullish on the future. What's the catch? There's always a catch, right?
Well, one potential challenge is geopolitical risk. TSM is based in Taiwan, which, as you know, has a rather complicated relationship with China.
Yeah, that whole situation is a powder keg waiting to explode. If shit hits the fan over there, it could screw up the entire global tech supply chain.
Exactly. Any escalation of tensions between Taiwan and China could disrupt TSM's operations and send shockwaves through the industry. It's a risk that investors can't ignore.
So basically, even if TSM knocks it out of the park with their earnings, there's still a giant what-if hanging over their heads.
Unfortunately, yes. Geopolitical risk is a wild card that could have a major impact on TSM's future, regardless of their financial performance. It does make you wonder if this whole TikTok thing is less about dancing teenagers and more about a high-stakes battle for technological dominance.
It's like we're watching a game of chess unfold.
Yeah.
Except the pieces are algorithms and data sets.
Right.
And the stakes are global F-bombing power. It's enough to make you want to chuck your smartphone in the ocean and go live in a yurt.
I understand the feeling. But technology isn't going anywhere. It's woven into the fabric of our lives, whether we like it or not. The key is to engage with it critically, and maybe with a healthy dose of cynicism.
Cynical?
Yeah.
Why cynical? Are you saying we should be walking around with tinfoil hats?
Not quite, but we need to question the motives of those in power.
Okay.
Both in government and in the tech industry. Don't just accept what you're told. Dig deeper, ask the tough questions, and try to see the bigger picture.
All right, I'm down with that. Let's cut the crap and get back to the market.
Yeah.
We talked about TSM's upcoming earnings and why they're so important.
Yeah.
But what are the specific things investors should be looking for in their report? What are the red flags that might make us want to bail?
Margins are a key indicator of a company's health. We want to see if TSM is able to maintain its profitability in the face of rising costs and competition. Shrinking margins could be a sign that they're losing their edge.
So if their profits are taking a hit, that's a bad sign, right? It means they're either not charging enough for their chips or their costs are out of control.
Exactly. Shrinking margins could indicate pricing pressure from competitors, supply chain bottlenecks, or inefficiencies in their operations.
Right.
It's something we'll be watching closely.
And what about innovation? Are they investing in new technologies to stay ahead of the curve? Or are they just resting on their laurels, counting their F-bombing money?
TSM is known for being a leader in semiconductor manufacturing. They invest heavily in research and development, particularly in areas like artificial intelligence and 5G. They know that innovation is essential for their long-term survival.
So we've got margins, innovation, anything else? What should our listeners be looking for to gauge the overall health of the semiconductor industry?
TSM's guidance will be crucial. Investors will be hanging on every word to see what they expect for the coming quarters. Are they forecasting continued growth? Are they anticipating any challenges? Their guidance will provide valuable insights into the state of the tech sector as a whole.
It sounds like TSM's earnings report is going to be a real nail-biter.
It will be a major event for anyone invested in the tech sector or the global economy.
All right. Let's shift gears again and circle back to this TikTok ban.
Okay.
I know we've touched on the national security concerns and the potential economic impact, but it's also a social and cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
This app has infiltrated the lives of millions, and its sudden disappearance is going to leave a void.
It's true. TikTok has become more than just an entertainment platform. For many users, it's a community, a source of income, and even a form of self-expression. The ban will have a profound impact on their lives.
And let's not forget the memification of everything. TikTok has become a breeding ground for viral trends, challenges, and dances. It's a cultural force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. It's a powerful engine for content creation and consumption, shaping trends and influencing behavior on a global scale.
So what happens to all that creative energy when TikTok disappears? Will it just evaporate, or will it find new outlets?
It's hard to say for sure. Some users will likely migrate to other platforms like Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts.
Right.
But it's possible that some of that unique TikTok energy will be lost.
It's like a cultural black hole.
Yeah.
We're about to witness the disappearance of a whole universe of content.
It's certainly a significant event, and it will be interesting to see how the online landscape evolves in its absence.
All right, let's bring it back to the market.
Okay.
We've talked about Rosenberg's bearish predictions.
Right.
And the concerns about passive investing.
Yeah.
But are there any other market risks we should be worried about? Any other asshats out there trying to rain on our parade?
Well, inflation is still a major concern. It's eating away at people's purchasing power and putting pressure on businesses to raise prices.
Yeah, this shit is getting out of control. I went to the grocery store the other day, and I almost had a F-bombing heart attack when I saw the price of eggs.
I hear you.
Yeah.
And to combat inflation, the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates, which could slow down economic growth and potentially lead to a recession.
So we've got inflation, rising interest rates, the threat of a recession, geopolitical tensions, and a potential tech bubble. Is there anything else you want to throw on the pile? I'm starting to feel like I need a drink.
Don't forget about the ever-present possibility of black swan events.
God.
Those unpredictable occurrences that can shake the market to its core.
Like a giant meteor wiping out all our iPhones.
That would certainly qualify, but it could be anything. A natural disaster, a political upheaval, a technological breakthrough that disrupts entire industries.
It's enough to make you want to bury your head in the sand and pretend the world isn't a giant dumpster fire.
I understand the feeling.
Yeah.
But remember, volatility is part of the game.
Right.
The key is to stay informed, manage your risk, and focus on the long term.
Easier said than done when you're surrounded by asshats screaming, "The sky is falling."
True. But tuning out the noise and focusing on the fundamentals is crucial. That's how you make smart investment decisions, even in a crazy market like this one.
It's wild to think how much power these tech companies have.
Right.
They're shaping our culture, our economy,
Yeah.
even our political landscape.
It's true. And the scary part is that we're just beginning to understand the full extent of their influence.
It's like we're in this uncharted territory and no one really knows where we're headed.
Yeah.
It's exciting and terrifying all at the same time.
That's a good way to put it. The digital landscape is constantly evolving, and it's hard to predict what the future holds. But one thing is certain. Technology is going to continue to play an increasingly important role in our lives.
So what can we do? Are we just pawns in this game, or do we have any agency?
We're not powerless. We can choose how we engage with technology, what information we consume, and which platforms we support. We can demand greater transparency and accountability from tech companies and policymakers.
Okay, so we need to be more informed, more critical, more engaged. But let's cut the crap. What does that actually look like in practice?
Yeah.
What can our listeners do to stay ahead of the curve and not get played by the system?
First and foremost, stay informed. Read a variety of sources.
Yeah.
Not just the ones that confirm your existing biases. Question everything. Don't just accept what you see on social media or hear on the news.
Yeah, there's so much bullshit out there, it's hard to know what to believe.
Exactly. That's why it's important to develop your critical thinking skills.
Right.
Learn to identify misinformation, propaganda, and biased reporting. Don't be afraid to challenge the status quo.
So basically, we need to become expert bullshit detectors.
Aha.
I like it.
Precisely. And remember, technology is a tool. It can be used for good or for evil. It's up to us to ensure that it's used in a way that benefits humanity.
Damn right. All right, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this episode. We've covered a lot of ground today, and I'm feeling mentally exhausted.
It has been a wide-ranging and thought-provoking conversation.
For sure. But before we go, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. This whole TikTok saga has got me thinking about the bigger picture.
Oh, do tell. What are you pondering?
I'm wondering if this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay.
What if this is just the beginning of a much larger tech war between the U.S. and China? What if the battle lines are being drawn right now and the stakes are higher than we realize?
That's a chilling thought. It certainly seems like the relationship between the two superpowers is becoming increasingly strained, and technology is right at the heart of the conflict.
It's like this massive game of geopolitical chess is playing out, and we're all caught in the crossfire.
It's a complex and rapidly evolving situation, and it's one that we'll need to watch very closely in the coming years.
All right, folks, that's it for this episode of AI Market Edge. We covered some serious ground today, from Rosenberg's doom and gloom predictions to the TikTok ban to the potential tech war brewing between the U.S. and China. It's been a wild ride, and we'll be back next week with more market madness and geopolitical drama.
Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and don't be afraid to ask the tough questions.
And hey, if you enjoyed this raw and unfiltered deep dive into the world of AI, tech, and the market, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel for more. And remember, as always, don't be an asshat. Peace out.